All right, we're going to learn how to use backwards distributive on algebra expressions. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look for the greatest common factor. So we're going to draw a line underneath each of the monomials and we're going to draw a parentheses. So we're going to ask ourselves, what's the largest number that goes into 15 and 30? The answer is 15. So I'm going to write 15, 15, and then 15 down in my answer. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to take a look at my A's. And I have an A and I have an A squared. So that means both of them have an A, and an A down in my answer. Then I'm going to take a look at my D. I have a D and a D squared. So they both have D's. So I'm going to write a D, D, and D down in my answer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to do 15 goes into 15 one time. Where do I have more A's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. Where do I have more D's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. Plus, 15 goes into 30 two times. Where do I have more A's? I have A squared and A to the first on the bottom, so I have one A on the top. And where do I have more D's? I have one D on the top. So my answer is 15AD times parentheses 1 plus 2AD. So what I'm actually doing here is I'm giving you the answer here, and I'm asking you to find the math problem that when multiplied gives you that answer. So it's backwards distributive. All right, let's do the next one. Draw a line, parentheses. What number goes into 9 and 6? 3, 3, and 3 in my answer. Now I'm going to look at the A cubed and the A. So they both have an A in my answer. Then I'm going to take a look at my D squared and D cubed. So the smallest exponent for D is D squared. So I'm going to do D squared, D squared, D squared in my answer. So now I'm going to go ahead and do 3 goes into 9 3 times. Where do I have more A's? On the top. How many more do I have? A squared. Where do I have more D's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 3 goes into 6 3 times. Where do I have more A's? I'm sorry, not 3 times. Let's try 2 times. So this would be a 2. Where do I have more A's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. Where do I have more D's? I have one more D on the top. So my answer is going to be 3AD squared times, parentheses, 3A squared minus 2D. All right? So we're going to draw our line, draw our line, draw our line, and our parentheses. Now we need to find the largest number that goes into 8, 24, and 16. So that's going to be 8, 8, 8, and 8 in my answer. Now I'm going to take a look at the P. I have P squared, I have P, and I have P. So I can go ahead and take out a P, 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 and P in my answer. Then I'm going to look at my R squared, R cubed, R. So they all have an R. So I'm going to do R, 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 and R in my answer. Now I'm going to simplify. 8 goes into 8 one time. Where do I have more P's? On the top. How many more do I have? 1. Where do I have more R's? On the top. How many more do I have? 1. Minus 8 goes into 24 3 times. Where do I have more P's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. Where do I have more R's? On the top. How many more do I have? 2. Plus 8 goes into 16 2 times. Where do I have more P's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. Where do I have more R's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. So that would be the math problem that you would solve that would give you this as the answer. Backwards distributive method. Number 16. I'm going to draw a line, draw a line, draw a line, draw a line. Now, the trick here is that I have 4. So when I have 4, I'm going to group them together. And then I'm going to see what they have in common. And I'm going to put my first parentheses here. So the largest number that goes into 6 and 8 is 2, 2. 2 down in my answer. Then I'm going to take a look at the X and the X. So they both have an X. And I'm going to take a look at the Y. This one does not have a Y, so I can't take the Y out. So 2X is going to be what comes out. So now I'm going to simplify. 2 goes into 6 3 times. Where do I have more X's? I don't. Where do I have more Y's? On the top. How many more do I have? 1. Minus. 2 goes into 8 4 times. Where do I have more X's? I don't, so I don't have to write it. So I've done the first one. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the second one. So what number goes into 15 and 20, and it has to be the biggest number? So we're going to take 5. 5, 5, and the parentheses. Now this is a positive 5 that I took out. Now I'm going to simplify. I'm going to take a look at Y. This one doesn't have a Y, so I can't take the Y out. Now I'm going to simplify. 5 goes into 15 3 times. Where do I have more Y's? On the top. How many more do I have? 1. Minus. 5 goes into 20. How many times? 4. Now, you're going to notice that I'm going to look at these and I'm looking for something that matches. So what matches? The 3y minus 4 and the 3y minus 4. So I'm going to put 3y minus 4 down in my answer. Now, these two are identical on the top and the bottom, so they cancel out. These two are identical on the top and the bottom, so they cancel out. When I cancel out these first two, what is left? The 2x, so that's going to go in the next parentheses. And when I cancel out these two, what is left? The positive 5, so that goes into that parentheses. And now I have the two binomials that when I box them, I get this as an answer. And now we know how to use backwards distributive.